Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and we're just bringing you turn 9 of Next War Poland Strategic Surprise Scenario. And I have just concluded the movement and combat phase and did some of the consolidation, reorganization, reinforcement, and replacement phase. Haven't done all of it, but I wanted to capture this turn. Hope everybody had a good Christmas or a good Tuesday if you don't do Christmas, or if you did some other holiday, happy whatever. Hope you had a good whatever that other holiday might have been. So here we're looking at the strategic display, and let me go ahead and kind of show you the tracker. You can kind of pause that if you need to look at it. Of course, there's a couple of hidden markers. I haven't added victory points yet, but you can see that the Allies or NATO scored 12. The Russians scored 4, so it was a net 8 for the Allies. So that differential is now, it should be, what, 77? Marginal victory is anywhere, for the Russians, is anywhere between the 60 and 89 range. So they're slowly starting to lose a marginal victory. There's 3 more turns left by the book. And the last 2 turns, so turn 8 and 9, have seen the Allies net more points than the Russians. So I don't know. I think I might call this game. I think I might just kind of stop where I'm at and call it a Russian marginal victory, even though if it played out, it would probably, depending on how it played and how everything, dice rolls and all that went, it could possibly be a NATO victory or a tie. So it probably would end up being a tie, I think. So NATO would end up fighting back to a tie. So let's see here. What did we have going on? So NATO movement. So we got 2 of those surface action groups into the Northern Baltic. Dang, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do naval combat. So maybe I'll go back and do that, because that's, you lose a ship, that's like 5 victory points. Each one of these had a strike 1 marker on it. One of these surface action groups had a strike 1 marker. Southern Baltic, we've got 2 carrier battle groups, surface action group. We have an amphibious assault group that's moving its way. It'll go into the inshore on the Poland map. We've got I think that is, it's not Sweden. I think this is, who is this guy? Okay, Denmark. So we got a Denmark surface action group in Bornholm. We've got another carrier battle group moved in from the North Sea. So got a lot of stuff going on. Here's our, that's been cleaned up. Everybody's moved back into the right boxes. These guys were aborted last turn, so they moved to the flown box. Everybody else moved up to the ready box. So yeah, I think I need to just go and do some naval combat and see what happens there. It could add, I doubt it would add 10 points to the victory points for NATO, but it could add up to maybe 5. I don't know. So now we come over to here. So now we'll focus. There was a lot going on this turn. So you can see all the arrows basically up here in northern Poland. Got the Marines here still in Elblag, and then Gdansk, just for references. Some of these places I probably are not pronouncing right, but hey, I'm not Polish, don't speak Polish, so. So Russian movement is shown by arrows, just plain arrows, and then attacks are shown by the double arrows. Let's see, okay. So supply unit moved down. I think that came in from Kaliningrad. I know this, so the 20th Guards Division, which comprised of this headquarters and these 2 brigades, they were on the operational, no, on the strategic display. I always get operational and strategic messed up because in most war games you have three types of war games, right? You have tactical, which is basically like your miniatures type stuff, right? You know, man to man or squad to squad. ASL is a good example. And then, you know, there's plenty of other ones. So that's tactical. And then strategic is like this. This is usually a strategic level game, right? It shows brigades, divisions, you know, that kind of thing. And then you have an operational war game, which encompasses like, you know, an entire continent or whatever. So a good example of an operational level war game would be World at War, World in Flames. You know, those are operational. So I get the operational and the strategic map mixed up all the time because they're kind of opposite in this game. This is the operational map because all your operations take place on it, and your strategic map is the one that's got the naval display and all that on it. So that's why I get those two mixed up. But so anyway, I digress. 20th Guards Division moved in from the strategic display, so they came and they moved down here. This MSU moved down. I want to say that the 20th Guards Army also moved from the strategic display down to here to kind of bolster up these guys. The 20th Guards Division. See, now this is where naming conventions are kind of crazy, right? So this is the 20th Guards Army, and this is the 20th Guards Division. So naming conventions can kind of confuse you too. So anyway, so the Army moved down here to bolster up the 41st Army. Let me make sure. I think this is, yeah, it's the 41st Army. And then the 20th Division is bolstering these guys over here. You will also notice that this area, you had these guys here. They retreated. They were located along this line. They've now backed up. Let's see. So there doesn't look like there was any combats on the Russian side here. Let's see what we got. So just a little farther south, we had some repositioning of units here in this area. We had a combat here. So this stack of Polish units was here. So basically we had some of the 41st Army move to here. We had 41st Army here and here and here. So they attacked this hex here. Managed to push those guys out. I don't think any Polish units were lost, but they were forced to retreat. There might have been, I think there was a step, yeah, there was a step loss involved. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. No, not there. It was somewhere else. I think there was a Polish brigade that was lost here, but they ended up having to retreat. So that's why this spot's blank, and then you have the attack marker there, but there's Russians there. And then there was a Polish brigade here. These guys, I don't remember, I think they were in one of those two hexes, but they attacked that guy and knocked out that Polish brigade right there. Let's see, what else can we see? And then down here in the south, down by Warsaw, so you can see a lot of arrows here. So there was a lot of repositioning of 58th Army, 58th Guards Army. Some repositioning. We did have 2-1. So 2nd Brigade, 1st Cav. They were here. Hold on here a minute. What is going on? I gotta think about what I'm doing here. So they were here. So it was 2-1, 2nd Brigade, 1st Cav, along with 282, so 2nd Brigade, 82nd Airborne Division. They were here. They were attacked by basically all of this. And 282 was eliminated. So 2nd Brigade, 82nd Airborne Division, all Americans, no longer with us. I think this just signifies the retreat. So that usually for me is an attack, but there's no way that the NATO would attack that way. So that probably signifies they retreated all the way to here. So 282 is eliminated, and then 21 retreated back. We got this stack, which is 382. That's some Italians. I don't even know how to say that. But we got that Italian Marine Battalion. They're basically holding that spot. And then you can kind of see over here, this is a stack of, these are all those Belarusians that were out of supply. And I need to move something around because they're overstacked right now. But that's pretty much what the Russians did on their turn. So the Russians, let's see here, they supported that combat. So we got the orange block. So the Russians supported this. They risked some air, right? Because if you remember, they did not have any interceptors in the air superiority box. So basically they took a risk and decided to support this with a couple Su-24s. The Allies responded with an A-10 and some helicopter support, and you know the results. So 282 was destroyed and 21 had to retreat. So the Allies weren't very successful, or at least their air support didn't do what they needed to do. So the Polish unit that was eliminated here was supported by, we got all this stuff over here. When they're flipped facing the opposite direction, means that plane was aborted. Right here, so this attack there was a lot that went into this attack right here. So the Russians again threw in some, looks like some Su-24s. That one was aborted, this one was destroyed. It was early detected, so this plane was destroyed basically by a couple of Swedish interceptors. They also threw in some helicopter support. And then the Allies decided to throw in a German Tornado and some helicopter support on this combat. Let's see what else we got. So we had our first action with the French. So we had this French 1st Division along with an armor brigade and a motorized mountain infantry. That's the first time I've seen motorized mountain infantry, but this guy right here is motorized mountain infantry, which is pretty freaking cool if you ask me. So there were 2 Russian brigades right here. The French were right here. So basically all these guys, this stack, and then this stack, they were kind of like lined up here. So they went around, did a little maneuver to surround the Russians, and they would have been probably, I want to say they would have been isolated had they survived. But there was 2 brigades here, and they were eliminated. French guys moved in. So the French 1st Division, they were supported by, let's see, what did we throw in there? So we had 2 helicopter helo strikes and a German Typhoon providing close air support. The Russians responded with a bomber. It was intercepted by French and American fighters, and it was aborted. So unfortunately we weren't able to take it out, but at least we were able to send them back home. All right, and then of course up here, this has been a source of a lot. All right, so the landing at Eblag. Now I've read into the rules, and I've figured this out a couple of turns ago. The Marines wouldn't have actually been able to land here because there's no port. But by the time I figured that out, I had already advanced a little too far in the game, and I wasn't going to undo all that. So yeah, the Marines never should have been able to land there, but whatever. You know, it is what it is, right? In a game like this, when you're playing by yourself, you're going to make mistakes. It's just unavoidable. A lot of rules in this game. You're going to forget stuff. You're going to miss things, and just mistakes are going to happen. So you just roll with it, right? So there was there was 2 brigades here. I think they were motorized Russian brigades. So we attacked with this stack here. So they got the Rapid Reaction Corps and some Italians, and then you got some 101st dudes. So you got 101st Headquarters along with 1st Brigade, so 101. And you notice that they were the lead unit, so they were the one that took the hit. So they attacked across the river. You got these 2 Polish brigades, so an armored brigade and a mechanized infantry brigade. Attack that way. You got the Spanish, got a motorized brigade and a light infantry. They all attacked. So it was a 3-way right here, attacking into that hex. They were not able to. They caused, I think, a step loss, but there was no retreat on the CRT, which I was really hoping for a retreat. Didn't happen, so that left all these Marines attacked in there. I didn't want to do that, but I had the Marines attack in there. They had some naval support. They had some Harriers, help support, and basically destroyed the 2 brigades that were here. So the bad thing is, and the reason I didn't want to do that with those Marines is now I basically split that stack up. So these guys, the only thing they got going for them right here is the fact they're in urban, which will help out a lot. So there's a lot less defense points in this. Basically, they almost divided it in half. They had to divide up all their defensive points into 2 hexes, which I didn't want to do. So that kind of leaves them vulnerable. Marines only have 1 step. So if you take any kind of step loss, you're losing a battalion at a minimum. So that kind of stinks. But let's see, what else do we have? I'll show you some of the reinforcements we got coming in. Can we see? All right, so we've got the 3rd. This is the UK 3rd Division, along with probably mechanized infantry. Yeah, mechanized infantry moved down from up here. They moved down here. They're going to start moving over to kind of help out this mess over here. Almost. So yeah, they're going to try to save the 82nd Airborne Division. We've got 20th Brigade, which is part of 3rd Division, so they came from off map. Got some German Jaegers coming in over this way, which you can't see. I'm not going to move the phone or the camera. We've got some Netherlands Marines, and we've got some more. It looks like we got some armored cav from Italy coming in. These Marines are going to head south, so it's a Marine armored battalion, armored Marines, 2nd Marines. So they're going to head down over to here too. Hopefully bail out the 82nd. And I'll show you what reinforcements we've got coming in. So on the American side, we've got 4th Division Headquarters, we've got 2nd Brigade, we've got a Aviation Brigade, Mobile Supply Unit, and an F-15 Strike Eagle. And then on NATO side, looks like we got a German helicopter or aviation brigade, special forces mission, whatever, big deal. Got some more Italians, look like some air mobile guys. French aviation battalion. Hey, we've got a Netherlands F-16. We've got some Canadians. This will be the 2nd Canadian to show up. We have another CF-18 that showed up, I think, last turn. So the Canadians have finally decided to make a showing, and we've got an Italian Typhoon. So anyway, that's what's coming in. The Russians had some replacement points, And that's about it. So this late in the game, the Russians, all their reinforcements are done. All they get is some reinforcement or replacement points. They might have gotten a supply point or two. And that's about it. I mean, Russians are good up until about turn 6, and then after that they stop getting stuff. And then, of course, NATO is the opposite. Like in the very beginning, they don't get a whole lot, and then as the turns progress, they get more and more and more and more. So I'll probably reset everything. I will look at what's going on, and I'm probably going to declare this game a draw. Let's see, is that the terminology they use? I think that might be the terminology that they use. I know it's marginal victory, and then, yeah, so you got right there for this particular scenario, you've got 60 to 89 as a marginal. We are at, if I was correct, it should be at 77, maybe? Yeah, I think it's 77. And then 59 to 0, or 0 to 59 will be a draw. I think if this goes 3 more turns, it'll be close to being a draw. If the trend continues, if it were to continue, as long as the Allies continue to make ground, which they're doing. So that's probably what would happen. But anyway, I'll go ahead and take a look at it, and then one of 2 things is going to happen. Either you are going to see a game turn 10, like I've been doing, or I will do a wrap-up video that kind of covers, you know, lessons learned, what I could do differently next time. It will cover my thoughts on the system, and I'll probably have a nitpick or 2. Don't get me wrong, I love the system, but there's a couple things that, you know, if I was a big-time game designer, I would add to it, or, you know, change or whatever. But anyway, that is enough for now, and I will catch you all soon.